It's Sunday evening. You have the editor open. The newsletter is named. The About page is published. The first issue went out months ago. You have an idea for this week's post, and you have time to write it. None of the obvious problems are stopping you. You're not blocked because you have nothing to say. You're not blocked because you don't know how to write. You're blocked because you don't know what the post is yet. You can't tell whether it should be 300 words or 3,000. You can't tell whether to open with the story or with the argument. You can't tell whether you're writing for the new subscribers who joined this week or the people who have been with you since the first issue. The idea is real, but the shape of the idea hasn't decided what it wants to be. So you start writing. The first paragraph wobbles. You delete it. You start again. An hour later, you have 3 abandoned drafts and a feeling that you should not be a person who has a newsletter. The post is not the problem. The decision before the post is the problem. Today's prompt fixes that. Claude 4. Writing a Substack post you'd actually send. 4th in the practical shelf, 2nd in the Substack pair. Last week's episode handled naming and launching. This one handles the post you sit down to write when the newsletter already exists. The specific scenario is a Substack post, but the technique works for any piece of writing where the angle isn't yet committed. A talk you're invited to give, a LinkedIn essay, a long client email. Anywhere the decision about what shape this should be is the actual work, and the writing is what happens after the decision is made. A note on why this specific problem is hard, because the difficulty isn't accidental either. Writing a newsletter post requires holding 2 things in mind at once. The first is the idea itself, which has its own shape and demands. The second is the audience, the format, the moment in the newsletter's life, the relationship to last week's post and next week's post, the length the readers expect. Writers who have been doing this for years hold these 2 things effortlessly. Writers who are 6 issues into their newsletter have not built that muscle yet. What happens when you can't hold both is that the second thing drifts while you write. You start writing for one audience and find yourself writing for a different one by paragraph 3. You start at 300 words in your head and find yourself at 800. You start with an argument and find yourself in a personal story. The drift is the killing thing. The drift is what produces the 3 abandoned drafts. Claude can hold both of these things in working memory at once, in a way you can't. Not because Claude writes better than you, because Claude can keep 3 different angles for the same post in active consideration at the same time, without losing any of them. Your job is to use that capacity to commit to an angle before you write a single line. Once the angle is committed, the writing is just the writing. The drift goes away because the decision was already made. There are 2 prompts in this episode. They run in sequence. The first one is the load-bearing one. Open Claude, paste this. Then paste your half-formed idea, your most recent post if you have one, and a 1-line description of who reads the newsletter. I'm sitting down to write this week's newsletter post. Here is the idea, the last issue I sent, and who reads this newsletter. Before I write anything, propose 3 different angles this post could take. Each angle should commit to a different decision about what the post is for. One should be the story angle, where the post is a single, specific scene or experience that the reader sees through. One should be the argument angle, where the post makes a claim and defends it. One should be the framework angle, where the post names a pattern and gives the reader a way to see it everywhere. For each angle, tell me the working title, the opening line, the length range, and the one risk of writing it this way. Run this prompt. Read what Claude returns. Pick one of the 3 angles. Not the one that seems most ambitious, the one that fits where you actually are tonight, given how much time you have and how much energy is left in your day. Commit to it before moving to the second prompt. The commitment is the move. Once you've picked the angle, the post is no longer a vague idea. It is a specific kind of post with a specific shape, and the writing is now possible. The second prompt runs after the first one in the same conversation. Paste this. I'm going with the story argument framework angle. Now give me the structure for that specific post. 4 to 6 beats. For each beat, tell me what the beat is doing, what the rough word count is, and a single sentence that captures what the beat needs to say. Don't write the post, just the scaffolding. What you get back is a structural outline, not the post. The scaffolding the post will sit inside. 4 to 6 beats with word counts and 1-sentence summaries. Read it. Adjust the beats that don't fit. Cut a beat if the post is shorter than you thought. Add one if a key idea is missing. The outline becomes the contract you write against. Now you write the post, or rather, you fill in the beats. Each beat is small enough that the writing is no longer about whether the post is the right shape. The shape is settled. The writing is just executing the beats. You can do this in 20 minutes for a short post, an hour for a longer one. The friction is gone because the decision is gone. One calibration consistently improves the output of the angle prompt, and it's worth running at least once on every post until you have a sense of which angles your audience responds to. After Claude returns the 3 angles, ask this follow-up. Which of these 3 angles would my best performing past post probably have been, structurally speaking? Look at the patterns in what's worked for me. Don't just answer the question for this post. Tell me what shape I tend to do well in and where I might be over-defaulting. The response often reveals something you didn't see about your own work. Some writers are story writers who think they're argument writers. Some are framework writers who keep trying to write personal essays. The pattern in your past posts is a signal you can't easily see from the inside. Claude can see it because Claude reads everything at once without ego. You don't have to follow the recommendation. You might decide tonight's post is the one where you finally do the angle you've been avoiding. But knowing your default shape and knowing whether you're working with it or against it changes how you approach the decision. The blank editor isn't a writing problem. It's an unmade decision. Make the decision first. The writing follows. The angle then structure split generalizes to anything where you're stuck on a piece of writing whose shape isn't yet committed. A talk you're giving in 3 weeks. Paste the topic, the audience, the time slot. Ask for 3 angles. Story arc, argument arc, framework arc. Pick one. Get the structure, write the talk against it. A LinkedIn essay you've been meaning to publish for months. Same prompt, different inputs. The reason that essay hasn't gone live is rarely lack of writing time. It's that you keep second-guessing what the essay is. 3 angles surface the choice. Commit, write. A long client email that you've been drafting in your head for 2 days. Yes, even this. The reason the email is hard isn't the words. It's that you haven't decided whether it's a vulnerable email, a firm email, or an information delivery email. 3 angles. Pick one. Send within the hour. The pattern is the same in every case. Make the decision visible before you start writing. Let Claude hold the alternatives in working memory while you choose. The choosing is the work that's been invisible to you, and naming it is what frees the writing. A real note on what this prompt does not do. It does not write the post for you. It cannot. If you take the structural outline and ask Claude to fill in the beats, what comes back is competent prose that does not sound like you. It will be readable. It will not be yours. Your readers will sense the difference, even if they can't name it. The split between angle decision and writing is deliberate. Claude is good at the structural decision because that's a synthesis of options problem. Claude is bad at writing in your voice on a thin context because voice matching needs more input than 3 example posts. If you've been writing the newsletter for a year and you have 50 posts of voice data, the calibration is better. If you're on issue 8, you can't shortcut yourself to Claude-written posts that sound like you. The writing has to be yours. The point of this prompt is not to outsource the writing. It is to free your writing from the decision overhead. The post still goes through your hands. Claude just clears the path. Save the angles Claude proposes each week, both the ones you pick and the ones you reject. Over 6 months, you'll have a record of every angle that crossed your desk and which ones you wrote. The record becomes useful in 2 ways. First, the rejected angles are tomorrow's posts. The one you didn't pick this week is a candidate for next week or the week after. You stop running out of ideas because you have a backlog of structurally defined posts that just haven't been written yet. Second, the pattern in what you pick reveals what kind of newsletter writer you actually are, which is often different from the kind you think you are. You can use that pattern deliberately, or you can use it to argue with yourself when you want to grow the work in a direction it doesn't naturally go. Either way, the angles you generate are an asset, not exhaust. Most writers throw them away. Yours accumulates into the editorial calendar you never sat down to make. 2 prompts. Angle first, structure second. Don't write the post until the angle is committed. Don't pick the angle until you've seen all 3. That closes the Substack pair. Last week was launching, this week is writing. Together, they cover the 2 friction points that stop most newsletters from getting going and stop most newsletters from sustaining once they're going. If you launched last week using the prompt from CF03, you have a positioning document and a name. Use the angle prompt from this episode tonight. Send the post. The newsletter has now done what newsletters are meant to do, which is reach the reader on a regular cadence. The cadence is the thing. Everything else is decoration. The next Claude 4 episode steps away from the Substack territory and into the working week corner of the practical shelf. The brief is up next week. For tonight, write the post. That's the episode. See you in the next one.